Yeah, like a machine that's polite when it's on the floor like that one too. It works like.
We have 3 guys, one in the hallway, one in the living room.
Oh, that's so wow. Yeah. They work really well.
Yeah. We've never, they have a software and I haven't.
Yeah.
Still been public.
Yeah, really. That's what I have a swamp cooler.
Going through these weeks, right?
Yeah.
It means
The lights cam.
it's a heater and.
But it's not, no, for like the cigars.
We have 3 there. Edit. And the one in the hallway plays the whole house.
I know that's not close to them.
You did that when you were renovating. When you did.
No, why is it sitting over there?
They have
Kathy.
Oh, really?
I don't know if she's doing
Oh.
it.
That's interesting.
Right. Should be fine, yeah.
Then you gotta go out.
Yeah, great.
Is Andrea there?
She is.
Andrea, you wanna go ahead and do your introduction, please?
First.
I'm sorry, did you talk to me?
I did. You can go ahead and your introduction.
Thank you. The sound in that room is not great, y'all. But hi, everybody.
Don't worry,
The new thing.
we got a new thing coming soon.
Oh, yay. All right. This is going to be great. We're going to be practicing language justice. And if you are watching these are we watching this on YouTube?
Yes, we're watching it on YouTube.
Okay, if you're watching this on YouTube, this is also going to be recorded in Spanish and published in Spanish. Si estás viendo esta grabación en YouTube, la grabación en español va a ser publicada en el futuro. And for all of you who are here right now, just select your language once we start interpretation. And we can start interpretation now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jenny, you know how many people are watching on YouTube?
I can get you numbers on that.
Like, just wondering.
Yeah.
So you got more. And then. Close this one up for a second. And let's go to translation.
I think it's on, where is it there? Through comment.
Your more. Should be under more. Is it not under more? That's what you put, right?
Michaela?
Oh, do settings.
Just so you all know, usually I receive a Zoom invite as an interpreter from Zoom, and I did not get it this time. So it is possible that the interpretation feature has not been active from the Zoom browser. And if that is the case, the meeting needs to be ended so that it can be edited from the Zoom browser.
Okay, 1 second.
She knows what we're doing.
Football team. Are you?
Excited, I'm ready.
They were talking.
I'm looking a little frisbee out there.
Yeah.
My lawn at home. Why didn't you sit by you?
Yeah, twice a week right now, so. There's a nice, you're not supposed to be, weekends supposed to be like high 90.
By the end of December, we're all gonna be.
Who's your football team? I don't guess. Oh, ask him about last year, see how it went for him. Yeah, sometimes we just go through it. And how many times there's a load?
Ben.
Yeah, how many times, Eagles have lost to the Broncos? Last year, they lost all of them played. How was their witness? Yeah, the Broncos only lost to Denver 4 times. We played it 5 times. No, you played them 9 times. Okay, we're at almost at 50%. Almost. When is that film?
Bernie likes to live in shots. Yeah.
Usually it's Chicago. Yeah, they're moving you, where did they move to Jasper?
Indiana.
Indiana.
gonna try, I'm going through some stuff with my mom right
It's 29 miles.
It's fine.
now.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Indiana Bear.
Nice to everyone.
I think it's
What's his name?
It's a loaded question right now. Yeah. I'm very loaded.
Alright, I'll put, are you Brenda Meeter?
No,
Professional.
because I did not call it, but look at it.
See, that's
There you go. Broncos, Eagles, dash, all you want. Broncos bashing the Eagles.
All right,
Okay.
It'd be nice to see that.
just the host control for
We
us.
need to start over.
Except
There it
for
is.
little known fact,
It's on the
Barrel
host.
Man's ashes are down there on the
Oh,
field somewhere.
the.
My question is, are they gonna dig up that part of
Yeah.
the field and take it to the new stadium?
Yeah.
What do you want that, or what do you want to say? All right.
Well, it depends if they
Let's
gonna
go.
mail it over.
No, hopefully they do something.
All state.
I don't know, his wife put his ashes there on the field somewhere, 50-yard line probably.
Yes, you got a complex pretty soon. Apartment building right on top of.
No,
Dig up there over.
Did he do that legally? She do it legally, or just
apparently, because I saw a whole thing on it,
little people, my father, not bigger.
and that was
That's real.
not legal.
It's
Oh, shoot, Bob, what are you doing?
just.
We are recording.
Hey, we took a real strange turn there.
But we are good to go.
Now we're recording.
This is right out of one of those SRA articles, and they say, be careful when the cameras are going, like, you're being recorded, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and call this June 22nd, 2026 work session meeting for city council to order at 6:08 PM or 18:08 PM. All council members are present. Go ahead, take it away.
Okay, well, tonight for work session, we, it's gonna be the Andrew show for the most part here. Gonna go over, the action items that you have on your agenda for tonight, the rationale why we have those and kind of what they are behind them. Because we didn't have a chance to talk about them, in advance, so we wanted to take this work session time to kind of familiarize you guys with these efforts here and, we'll do that, and then Mayor, I gotta talk to you, we can do a brief update for the council on, the meeting that you and I had with the school district and the, and South Suburban, kind of bring them up to speed on some of that discussion. And then we should be about at our meeting, so
Okay.
if it's not, we'll have a little extra time to chat, so.
Andrew, do you wanna take it away? Or which one do you wanna start with?
I think we'll probably start with EDUs tonight. So, really the theme of this evening is complying with state land use legislations. Really exciting stuff. Those are both of the items you have this evening. So we'll talk about them briefly. First one, the EDU ordinance. So we have this on first reading tonight. We'll provide a little bit more information in the packet on second reading. Just some of the back and forth with the state that we've had. It looks like this review with the state's been going on for about a year now, because I was looking today and we started some conversations with them in June of last year. So this ordinance you see tonight, this is complying with the requirements that came out of the state legislature back in 2024.
Which one?
So on EDU, so this is ordinance 9, 2026. Right. So real briefly, it's a pretty simple ordinance. We had to submit our current EDU ordinance to the state last year, and I printed it. It's about, I think, 5 pages long. So thankfully, in all 5 pages, they only found there's like one item that they just wouldn't budge on with us making a change to our code. So thankfully, it was just the one item. You know, some cities at that time, they didn't have an ADU ordinance or they were really out of compliance. But just to give you an idea, we have spent a year going back and forth with the state on this, trying to get them to see our side of things. You know, trying to just lobby and say, no, we like our ordinance the way it is. We spent a lot of time writing it back in 2021.
I was just gonna say.
They would not budge.
And maybe for some of the council that wasn't here at the time, we went through an entire process when we looked
Yeah.
at that. ADU ordinance, and maybe you could just touch on that real briefly.
Yeah, that was a pretty substantial process. I mean, we had started talking about ADUs back in 2017, 2018. Did a lot of work in 2019 and then got derailed by COVID a little bit. We did joint study sessions with Planning Commission and City Council. We actually had a whole group of folks that were attending our Planning Commission meetings. I mean, we had like 5 to 10 people there every time we had a study session on the topic because they were really interested in ADUs. And so we spent a lot of time with that one. I think, and you know, we told the state legislature this, that, hey, we found something that worked for our community and it's like 99% of what you're asking us to do. But yeah, at the end of the day, there was one thing they didn't like. And what that was you cannot have more restrictive setbacks than you would for like an accessory building, like a shed in that zone district. So basically what it is we have a 20-foot required rear setback for single family. If you're an attached ADU, you're going to build onto the back of your house with the ADU. Our current code would say you cannot come within 20 feet of your back property line. So the state looked at that and said, no, it's got to be 5 feet. So you have to be able to come within 5 feet of the property line. So I don't see this, like I said, we spent about a year trying to get the state to understand how this kind of worked with our zoning code, because they're looking at, you know, hundreds of zoning codes across the state. And they're all a little different. But yeah, this is kind of where we got with them. What you'll see tonight, the edit is basically just to say, yeah, if you're an attached accessory dwelling unit, you want to bump out the back of your house and build an ADU, it's just a 5-foot rear setback. So I don't see this really changing a whole lot at the end of the day. Really, where you would see this coming into play is if somebody was already built to the 20-foot setback for their house, whereas our current code would say, no, you can't build further into your backyard. This would now allow them to build the ADU and then come within 5 feet.
But
So
it would have to be an ADU. It would have to be qualified like as a lock off, right? As an addition, if you were to do that.
yeah,
But basically, it just can't be, oh, I'm gonna add another.
I'm gonna
room.
call it an
Right, add
ADU
another
and start,
couple
you
rooms
know.
and call it an ADU.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's very clear in here, you know, and what our city attorney's office added that I liked is, you know, portion of the structure containing the principal dwelling unit has to maintain that 20-foot rear setback. So it is truly just an exemption for the ADU to comply with the state code. So pretty simple now. Happy to answer any questions.
Otherwise, we require that 20-foot setback for what, like projects building for an addition.
Yeah. So like if you were gonna build like a sunroom or just another bedroom to an existing house, all of that would still have to comply with the
Yeah,
setback.
I was just thinking about, you know, the width of a small lot, you know, I don't think we have too many like 4,500 square foot lots, but maybe like 6,500, you know, those would probably only be like 20 feet wide, so like, is that usually practical though? That code?
Yeah, it's a great question. We don't really get into the practicality of building on different lots. It's mostly just doing what the state tells us to do. And this is a lot of what we told them too, is we spent a lot of time crafting these regulations to meet our lot sizes. And then when they start saying, well, statewide, we're just going to do the same thing for everybody, there could be some situations where it's still not practical.
Yeah,
I'm Sheridan if the lot's still.
but we're not like refusing people, that's not like an issue though, right?
No, like I said, I don't see this changing things a whole lot because it would have to be a property that's already a tiny lot, really built out, you know, already at the 20-foot setback, and now they want to add into their backyard more. And I just don't think we have a lot of those problems. So in the interest of making the state happy, like I said, we spent about a year trying to get them to just sign off on our code. They would not. But that's what I got for you tonight. It's it's a pretty minor edit. Like I said, our full ADU code is about 5 pages long. This is changing like a line of text in it. And again, I don't really see this, you know, unlocking a bunch of ADU development in Sheridan that's already had it. So.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that our code hasn't really been permissive, say, on that kind of setback issue, it's not keeping people from building that particular type of ADU right now in Sheridan. We haven't had anybody come in and go, oh, we want to do this, but we've said
We
no.
can't because
Yeah.
you have this in your codes.
Right.
So is there a height limit, how high you can go?
Yeah, so that'll stay the same, which is if it's attached in that instance, it'll be you have to meet the the zoning for the underlying. So whatever a house would be allowed to build up to, which is very permissive. You could build up to 35 feet tall for a single family house. That does increase your setbacks though, so you gotta move the house in. It can't be fully built out on the side.
It's great.
So yeah, but when you start looking at the hill, I mean, with the grade changes up there, we've actually approved some permits lately where you have a 2-story house with a walkout basement. They're starting to push the 35 feet from the
On the bottom of their
So,
property.
from the bottom, yeah, the patio, the walkout area.
We don't have a lot of, I mean, I think most of our, maybe this, no, we probably have some that are odd right there. Let's say like the minimum width. Used to talk about it, maybe start thinking about that. We're closer to more like 50 feet, wouldn't you say? So
Yeah.
we're not gonna have too many that are gonna be much narrower than 50 on that. But as you know, we have all different, you know, front and back, we have all kinds of stuff. Okay.
So that's our ADU code. Any questions? Answered. It's pretty simple. We would have liked to have taken it to planning commission, but just with time running out, I think we have a compliance deadline in early July. So we don't want to become non-compliant because then there's some risk that you will out on grants. Not just for the ADU program, but other state grants. So we'll stay compliant.
Yeah, and to Andrew's point, you know, we have been working with them on this kind of stuff for a while, and a lot of it has been driven by the state, just trying to figure out what the hell they wanted to do on a lot of this, and letting it, and them telling, hey, let us know what you're doing, you know, and like Andy said, we probably 90% ours, and then this is the only thing that we haven't been able to get them to sign off on, so I think we did a good job. No, I think the citizens and the council and the P and Z and everybody did a good job on this.
Yeah, the list was pretty long when they did the first review. They had a lot of questions for us, but Ari and Nathan did a good job of explaining our zoning code. This is how this works. This is how we're compliant. So we took that list from like 10 or 15 non-compliance issues down to just the one.
And our staff, and just to let you guys know, these guys have been really good about communicating to the staff or to the folks at the state that, and to the state, to their credit, they are looking at a lot of different zoning codes everywhere else, right? We have a particularly older city and older zoning issues and those kind of things like that, that sometimes they're not thinking about. And so our staff has done a very good job of educating the folks out in the state about those types of things. And so that, you know, they start oftentimes at the state, you can get a one size fits all, and it just doesn't work for cities like us. So our guys have done a very good job of educating the state, their folks about that. And then for the most part, they've listened, you know, they're pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, we actually had Eugene Howard come down and do a tour of Sheridan's. We drove him around, kind of showed him what we were looking at and said, this is Sheridan, you know, take a look. This is, when you read our code, it's helpful to see it in person, so.
Since we passed this ADU ordinance a few years ago, how many have built?
Done.
Yeah,
At 0 builds here, so we've done.
still make it easier then.
Yeah, it's good. We've done, I would say, 10 to 15 pre-planning applications, so there's a lot of interest. I think people come in, they're very excited, they own a piece of property, they want to build an accessory dwelling unit somewhere on the property for an older relative or for some, you know, family that's living with them. What happens though is we talk about the zoning is usually fine, right? We're like, yep, you're good to go. You've got like 3 or 4 different options. People, that's what they go right to. They're like, they show us the napkin sketch, like, this is where I want to put it. This is how it's going to work. Unfortunately, when we start talking about the fees for the water taps, the sewer taps, the, you know, construction costs right now are pretty high. For what an ADU is, you know, we've got a cap in there of the 800 or the 1,000 square feet, which is pretty generous. That's more generous than a lot of cities. But the numbers, it adds up really quickly. I mean, we tell people it's pretty much the most expensive home improvement project you would ever. So it just gets so expensive. And that's really, I think, to your point, the reason we haven't seen ADUs built down here is kind of a market situation right now. And it's really hard to go build an ADU in an existing neighborhood. I think there's a lot of opportunity for folks that are building like a new house entirely to kind of add it into that project, but we only do a couple of those a year and haven't seen them take off yet. and mostly up on the hill.
And I don't think our story is all that, odd, because I think I'm hearing the same thing from a lot of different places, that the demand is not quite what they had hoped it would be. Well, not necessarily demand, but the product actually getting built. It's just not been happening because, as Andrew said, as everybody starts to pencil it out, they kind of gasp and go, oh my.
Yeah, kind of what we hear from folks is they'll start looking at it and then they realize like for the cost of what it's going to cost to get it built, they could just go buy a brand new house somewhere else that fully is like a bigger house or already has a finished basement, and they're like, that's what I want to do.
So
when you
is it more than $100,000?
usually, yeah. Yeah, you're probably at least $100,000. I mean, the tap fees alone are around $20,000 to $25,000, which doesn't leave a lot for design costs, and then you have to get the materials, so it adds up very quickly. I think if they're done well, you're pushing like $200,000, $150,000 to $200,000. So, and when you look at that, with you already own something, and then you add that, and you look at what you could get for that amount of money to just go buy something that's already built, and where you don't have to manage a construction project in your backyard, people start to choose that second option.
Yeah.
Wait. So let's say to use.
Questions, anybody? Okay. What should we do next?
Next one, we'll talk about our fast track review process. So this is kind of an interesting one. So we have, this is for Proposition 123, which is the State Affordable Housing Fund. So this is where the voters back in 2022, they dedicate certain percentage of the state income tax to this affordable housing fund. But in order to receive a grant from it, you have to be in a community that is compliant with Proposition 123. Two big items on that. The first one, your city or your municipality has to file a commitment to increase your affordable housing stock by 3% over a 3-year period. So we filed our commitment back in 2023. I think that was 66 units overall that we committed to. And then once we got Bonsai opened up, or actually just issued the permit. All you had to do was issue the permit, didn't actually have to have a CO. We met that like 2.5 times over. So part of the delay in getting those units reported, we're doing a share back with Arapahoe County so that they can get the excess units because we can't carry them over into the next cycle. So that was the first part. So we're pretty much already done on that. Did a really good job there.
And before we move on to the next part, that's a lot of the part that a lot of the cities, be it the Cherry Hills, the Greenwood Villages, and so on, have pushed back on and had been pushing back on when that was first passed. So there was quite a bit of, and not just those cities, there were other cities as well. I think Westminster was one and some others that were pushed back pretty hard on some of the calculations and the way that they put this in place that would put requirements on cities that were they felt fairly unrealistic. Right. So that's been a lot of what you've heard over the past couple of years on that is just kind of not with everybody, but just from a number of municipalities, a general dissatisfaction or pushback on that and saying we're not even going to try. So that's why the legislature has gone back and tried to fix it. So anyway,
yeah, which they did this session, and pretty much everything I said, they ripped it up and threw it away. So now it's like, hey, if you made a good faith effort over the past 3 years, that counts. So unfortunately, we were in a position where we were going to be one of the few municipalities that actually did what we said we were going to and have access to the money. You'd only have to sit out a 1-year cycle. So this 26 into 27 year, I think, or maybe it's the year after, you just have to sit out if you didn't meet your requirement, right? And then it's like, okay, we'll try again in the next 3 years. Unfortunately, they came in and changed all of that and said, no, if you tried your hardest and can provide some data and stuff, we'll work with you. So it's a little frustrating there.
Yeah, it is because Andrew
we did the work.
Did a lot of hard work. So
well, and you all, I mean, funding getting Bonsai built, that was no.
The council did some heavy lifting on all this, and we were well positioned to be able to take advantage of some of this funding. And then they changed the rules on it.
Right. So again, now it's like, oh, it's open to everybody, and what it feels
And
like.
then they also used our law clerk, Michael, who you all about that money. I mean, he drafted an IGA, the share back with Arapahoe, and they used it across the state as like a model. that Michael had drafted as in the.
Because nobody else was sharing units back with anybody because nobody was building enough on their own. So, we were kind of the first that were like, hey, we actually have more to give, to Arapahoe
Yeah.
County, which provided quite a bit of funding too. So we're happy to do it because they've been a really great partner.
But it is a little frustrating because Andrew and his staff, busted their butts to get some stuff done in certain timeframes so that we would qualify for that. And then it's just, oh, we changed our mind.
Yeah.
But that's good.
Yeah, and just looking forward to the next 3 years. So we're gonna have to figure out a new commitment. It's gotten really complicated. So now it's looking at how many residential permits are you issuing? What does your job growth look like? It's a whole formula. I haven't even looked at it yet to see what our numbers might be. But it's totally changed. Whereas before it was looking at truly like what is your stock of affordable housing, and then what does the 3% increase look like across 3 years. So we'll see how it goes.
With the flying saucer project that's going on down there, why didn't we, ask that they make a couple of those units affordable housing and kind of get a head start on where we're going with it?
It's a great question. We did encourage the developer to look into some partnerships there. When you have 362 units under development, it's a lot easier to mix some in. Really what it comes down to is we don't have an inclusionary housing ordinance. So that's something that cities like Denver, Littleton, I don't know if Inglewood's done one yet, but a couple of the bigger cities around here, they now have a law that says when you build over a certain amount, you either have to, put 5 to 10% of those units have to be affordable, or you pay into a fee in lieu fund, which is what Denver's doing. We just don't have that ordinance right now. I think it's something potentially. I think that's a really great question.
Yeah, it's a discussion that we can kind of have. It's whether it would have a lot of utility here or not. How many projects would we have that would truly qualify? Because they have to be of a certain size to make it pencil out for the developer as well, to be able to include a certain number of below market rate units into their project. So it's generally more. You'll see inclusionary zoning generally the larger cities that do larger projects with a large number of units.
You have to have a pipeline of units,
Yeah.
so you can't be relying on like one big project every 5 to 10 years. So in Denver, they're permitting hundreds or thousands of units a year. It's easy for them to put in a requirement. It's going to reduce, but some people won't do projects because of it, but a lot of people will continue to build there. I think for Sheridan, what we have to figure out is the market down here, and if that could potentially shut the door completely on anything. So Flying Saucer, the specific developer that we got could have looked at that and said, no, that's just not our model. We're going to pass on the property. And then it could have went to another developer, or it may have just sat there.
That is one of the risks you do. You got to be able to absorb the kind of units to make it work. And I'm not sure we have a big enough market to absorb the number of units to make it work. Yeah. It's something to think about and consider and look at, seeing if they do. I think right now our better strategy, at least at the moment, is to kind of do what we've been doing, and maybe even looking at acquiring properties and doing projects ourselves and things like that. Working with affordable builders, subsidizing and incentivizing their projects to get them to come to fruition, rather than the inclusionary is more like kind of the hammer, and we're maybe better with the stick, and we're maybe better with the carrot in our market,
For right now.
Yeah.
But it's a great question, Councilmember Whitaker.
Yeah.
We're having our consultant for the second phase of the housing needs assessment take a look at some of that. So we did, our data only portion. We got a lot of great numbers. And the second phase, we're looking at strategies. So that's definitely a strategy that you could implement to say, hey, we want more units, more affordable units built. Would this help or hurt your market?
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how Littleton's worked. I mean, theirs is not even a year old, maybe a year old.
I think it's maybe a little more than that.
Maybe or so.
Around.
It'd be interesting to see
If they're getting
how that's working there.
Sets the price of the units, sets the price of how much the apartments will price.
for the affordable.
For the affordable, yes.
Yeah.
Who says that? I heard something recently that
there's been some of the ordinance that talking about they were lowering rents around the different parts. And of the city, is that true?
Yeah, if you've seen anything in the news right now, that's usually the market rate units that are lowering and offering all of the leasing concessions because there's just so many apartments on the market. That's typically the market. So the affordable stuff, if you have a subsidy from pretty much any layer of government, how it works is the rents are set so that somebody renting a unit there doesn't pay more than 30% of their annual income. And then it's based on the market that you're in. So Denver, the rents, they're allowed to charge higher rents because they expect that people make more money. The suburban markets like Sheridan, we're in like the Arapahoe County market, so they look at it and it's a little bit different. And then the rates are set at like Bonsai's 30 through 60% AMI. So they take the Arapahoe County area median income, and then people making between 30 to 60% of that, so about half, right? So if you see that AMI, like the median person in the county makes this, folks down there making 30 to 60% or about half of that. But those are all numbers that are put out by like HUD, the census. They're numbers that are set, like the tables go out every year, and then basically if incomes go up, then they can charge higher rents, and then if incomes go down, they can lower the rents and they have some flexibility. But yeah, if you're receiving any sort of government subsidy, you have to follow those charts. The market rate, they can do whatever is going to fill apartments. So,
And generally, it's the builder. So if it's a new unit coming in, a new affordable unit, it's the builder is going to say, we're going to try and hit this niche, whatever it might be. It could be 30 to 60, it could be 60 to 80%, 120%. Right. Loretta Heights is around 80. You know, and the builder kind of makes a determination. What do they want to try and what niche do they want to try and hit? And then they through that, then they go
get money from other governments.
They build what's called a capital stack, and that'll come from investors, it'll come from the government, it'll come from nonprofits, it'll all come with that. And then they try and hit a goal to build a project that they can rent out at that percentage of the area median income. So that's how they go.
One last question, is there a certain amount of section 8 that has to be distributed to the homing class that we have here in the city? Is there a certain amount of?
It has to be?
That's what I'm asking.
No.
There's not.
No, we have folks that take vouchers.
Okay.
Not a lot. I don't think we have too many units. Maybe we don't have any anymore. I'm not sure.
It's a good housing authority.
That is a good.
Save that for the housing authority back. I'm not even
I
gonna
know
try
the
to
folks
answer
down
that.
like across the street from Mullen used to have some section 8.
Yeah, that was building it.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. That's been a while since I've checked on that. You know, things change.
I can tell you one.
Yeah.
My brother.
Yeah.
He has something in housing when that's across the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I know we get.
Yeah.
We've always had like a handful of units in Sheridan that have been set.
I'm pretty sure Bonsai.
has some.
Does
well,
Bonsai have some?
I think Bonsai, any of the units, they'll accept a section 8,
Yeah.
like a housing choice voucher. You can go to any of
When they start that construction for the new units, when they start?
for Flying Saucer.
Right, so, yes.
So that'll be later this year. They're looking to do the demolition, and then it'll probably be next year before you see anything built out.
While we're on the flying saucer, just real quick, I met a gentleman. I was down at the storage unit, and he was offered $700 for relocation, and only he was one of 30 of the folks that lived there that was offered a relocation, and it was only for $700. Now, if I remember correctly, I could be wrong. I thought that when we approved all of that, that they had said that they were gonna help relocate those people and give them, you know, like a fair market value for relocation. $700, they could take $700 to relocate, or they could agree to move into an apartment and their rent would be $1,100.
No, so the second half of that, there was no agreement that they would be promised a unit in the future.
No, that's what he was promised. That was his choice of relocation.
Yeah,
$700
so
cash, or you can move into the apartments and your rent will be $1,100. Well, I thought that we had agreed to is that it would get help relocating.
yeah,
And it would be more Cause I'm thinking $700 may not be enough. Is it?
Yeah, I can't get into all the details of that. What I can tell you, so we're working with the Garrett companies. They are about halfway through that process of distributing some funds and working with folks. We are gonna have them come back and talk to council about how it went. So what we've got, you know, I don't have the agreement in front of me, but a lot of that,
I don't.
we could not require that they do any of that. So everything that they've done over there has been completely out of the kindness of their heart and based on what was kind of encouraged in the development. There was no.
I mean, because it was a
Yeah,
recorded meeting and they said that and I mean, if I was number 31 and I don't get anything and I was at the meeting and heard them say that they were gonna help relocate, could I not go back and say, hey, wait a minute, this was a recorded meeting in front of city council, y'all said that you're gonna help people relocate. And now you're not,
I'm not sure that's.
and I'm number 31.
Yeah, so really,
Oh, that is illegal.
what it is so it's a private agreement between the buyer of the property, current tenants, the current ownership. And like I said, all of that, like the city is not a party to any of that, which is why I want them to come back and talk about what happened.
Yeah, all we could do is what we did in the development agreement, just
Yeah.
say which they did agree to.
It was a voluntary
And it's
on
a
their.
voluntary thing.
So we asked them to do it.
Yeah.
I doubt they would have done it if we hadn't asked them to do it.
Right.
And we said, look, it was important to the council and the city that you
Right.
make this effort to do that. And they did set aside a certain amount of funds that was for that. And they've been going through a process and they will come update us on that. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know that they'll get into talking about individual settlements if they've done.
No, they're not gonna do anything that could personally come back on.
Yeah, I seriously doubt they'll talk about it.
No, what I'm asking is, I'm number 31, and it was a recorded meeting, and they said in this recorded meeting to city council that this is what we're gonna do, blah, 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 and then I'm number 31 that didn't get anything. Could I come back to them, not the city, but to them?
Yes,
Yeah, and so anybody can file a lawsuit about anything.
What do you do with that?
Yeah, so it's a civil legal matter.
Our understanding.
Give advice on that.
Okay, one at a time because our interpreter can't keep track of
That's
that.
not what I wanna know, whether or not, I just wanna know if the folks down there would have the ability to go, if they don't get something and they heard it at the city council meeting, that they'd be able to go and get some, which apparently they.
I'm not an attorney.
Yeah, I really can't even begin to give any legal advice on that. The other thing I can tell you.
I would hope that they would do what they said they would do, or what they told city council that they would. And I would hope that we as a city would somehow. Want to make sure that, you know, this is what you said. We have bi-weekly meetings with the developer, so it's Wednesday afternoons every other week. We got on a call with them, and that is usually the first thing we talk about is how is the relocation assistance going, where are you at, and That's what I
something.
wanna know.
Yes,
That's
and
what
the
they're
other,
gonna talk.
the other thing I can tell you is they had criteria on their side, right? Because this was a very public situation that got out. And so if somebody hears that and thinks, oh, I can just move in next week and now I have standing to ask for a lot of money. So they put together criteria that said,
Right.
you know, based on how long you've been there, when did you arrive? Because they started notifying people, I think it was January of 2024, that there was a pending sale. Don't consider this a long-term housing option. So, and that's what I want them to tell you directly about.
Oh, okay.
So there were some disclosures that
Right,
were
that
made
makes
there
sense, yeah.
where they basically said, we want to make sure we're taking care of the people that have been here and do need it, not somebody that came in yesterday because they saw it on the news and now they think they're gonna
Right,
action.
absolutely.
Which, you know, I would like to think that doesn't happen, but they had to protect themselves
I'm sure.
and everybody else down there.
Who's directly accountable for that action, technically speak, make sure that they get some justice. Who's accountable?
Apparently Andrew's being accountable and I appreciate it.
Well, we're like, as I said, we've been trying to keep tabs on the process as a city, right?
Right.
But we don't have an authority. We do
Cannot-
have authority to.
No pressure
enforce
can we
them.
put, we just
Correct, so I can't,
Moral pressure,
Okay.
we're keeping an eye on.
yeah, so we don't have a law and there are certain things that you can and can't do with laws around that. Because it's a private development, if this was
Oh,
like,
that's right.
if this was a federally funded, we're gonna go build something or fix the river and we need people to move, that triggers federal.
We own the property.
We have
We
something
bought it,
that
that.
will work alongside.
Yes,
Okay.
if the city had bought it, we would have to follow potentially certain regulations if we were getting federal money. But because it's a private development, it's really just.
Right.
What can we do to work with them? So, and like I said, that's why I want them to come back and talk to you all, so you can hear it directly from the source. Because they were the ones that were kind of on the hook for that.
Do you feel like it's gone fairly well, or it's been difficult?
From my perspective, I think it's going well because I think, it is been a gradual process over time. They're working with folks as leases come up. They're trying to work with people's schedules over the summer. I think for me, worst case scenario would have been somebody going down there, chaining it off and saying everybody's got to be out by Saturday.
Exactly.
Because when you have more time to kind of fix your own housing situation and relocate, you're going to make a better decision than somebody that says, you got 24 hours, you got to get out of
They
there.
have-
So
They have ample time, it seems like.
Mhm.
So-
yeah, so that was the hope, was a little bit of time, a little bit of money, that hopefully we're gonna help folks. That was kind of the goal there. So I would say I think it's going well.
They're still working through their process there. They're still working with people there. Yeah.
I can tell you this, if I was anybody living down there, I wouldn't be happy that I'm having to go through this. So I think it's kind of like, is it going well given the circumstances? I think, but overall, if you were living down there,
It's a tough one.
it's a tough one. You gotta go find a new spot somewhere else, so.
Which is tough, apparently, because there's not many spots.
Yeah.
The gentleman I was talking to has found one in Lemoore,
Yeah,
but he's lived there for like the last 22 years.
so,
And so now he's having, to move completely out of the city that
Mhm.
he's grown to
Mhm.
be a part of, so,
Yeah.
which is sad.
Yeah.
Anyway. Cool.
anyways, just wanted to go back to the Prop 123 stuff
Yeah,
real quick.
no,
No,
no
worries, all
All right,
good
we have to
questions. What we're here to talk about tonight, so fast track review process, the resolution you've got. Basically, so we talked quite a bit about the units that we had to build. We're there, we did that. They're changing the calculation for the next 3 years. The other part of it was by the end of this year, you had to adopt what is called a fast track review process that says when you receive, there's a list of applications, and for us, it's going to be site development plan, building permit, variance, conditional use. It's pretty limited list. They're all on your resolution. When you receive an application for one of those, and 50% or more of the units in a development that's being proposed are affordable, based on the definition, you have to issue a decision on those applications within 90 days. So when somebody submits a complete site development plan application, what we're committing to in here is that we will review it, they will make corrections, and we will issue a decision. Doesn't mean we have to approve it. If it's a no, it's a no. And we'll tell them that, but we have to let them know within 90 days. So we can't get into these situations where they're working for 2 or 3 years just to be told no. We're not going to issue your site plan in your home. So the state has outlined all of this. Luckily, because we're a smaller municipality, they said, hey, if your process already allows for a timeline that meets the 90 days, you can just adopt this resolution and send it to us, and you'll be considered to have met that requirement. What they said is if you're Denver, Aurora, Boulder, we already know that you are not capable of meeting that.
We
90
know who
days.
this was aimed at,
Right.
right? They're saying everybody, but we know who it was aimed at.
Right.
If you're one of those cities, we're not gonna take the resolution because again, this is like a goodwill, like, hey, we're committing on paper to doing this, right? If you're one of those cities, we're gonna expect to see a code change. So we're gonna, you're gonna have to put it in your zoning code, your land use code. You're gonna have to remove some processes. You're gonna have to restructure some staffing or something, and that's what they're looking for at those bigger cities. So thankfully for us, we don't have to do that. Basically, we're just committing to follow whatever the state puts out. I also really like this approach because I think after this goes into effect at the end of the year, I think they're going to realize really quickly that 90 days is really not achievable for anybody. And I do expect that probably in the next legislative session, they're going to make a bunch of changes to this program, just like Prop 123. So we don't want to put this in the code right now, because if we do, and then this time next year, they've redone everything on us,
Right.
we're going to have to redo our code. So I think right now we just say, yeah, we'll follow whatever the state's doing.
Okay.
And as they make changes, they're allowed to, we'll follow those changes and then we don't have to mess with our zoning. So that's what I really like about
It's kind of like adopting it by reference, right? So
Right,
we don't have, every time they change a 4 to a 3, we don't have to go back and change ours,
it.
right?
Yeah, because specifically,
Wait until they're done playing with it.
Yeah.
Then we'll put it in the code.
what I think they're gonna do, if they change this at all, they're gonna make it more favorable to the city. They cannot make the city more unfavorable
Yeah.
to cities because 90 days is
90 days.
really tight turnaround. It's just not really achievable, but that's for them to find out early next year.
Yeah.
I think we can do it. You know, we looked at our bonsai site plan. We did a staff review of that in 75 days. So we can meet these timelines. We have data to back that up.
And those are big. We don't have too often, do we have that size of development proposal come through. So it's more, the numbers are usually not that high, right? So that cuts down on our time too. So, yeah.
If we adopt this and then we don't make that 90-day timeline on a project, what's the consequence?
That's a good
That's
question.
a good question.
I considered approved.
I
don't know.
Stop.
Yeah.
Come on, we're gonna have to build one.
There's some stuff in there like that. I think they've been kind of quiet on the consequences because much like the other stuff, they didn't really know. And then they came out and said, well, we'll use it as a category or a criteria to judge all of your grant applications to CDOT. So if you don't, yeah, and we're not going to deny it, we'll just put you at the bottom of the list. And then, you know, with limited funding, they're only going to fund the top 5 to 10 anyway. So if you're at the bottom, you're just, you know, not getting funded. I think it'll be interesting to see what they come out with next year. I think we're going to have to see some cities not meet the requirement and then see what that does.
I think it's just
So-
like, you know, when you see legislation come out of the state, a lot of it is a little bit raw. And takes a couple sessions to get to the point where
Right.
it's actually refined down to where it's actually workable for anybody.
The other thing, developers don't have to do this process. So if they come in and they say, no, we want more time on our side, we don't want to be held to the 90 days. They don't have to do this. This is
So,
just
for
an
example,
option.
like when we were working with Bonsai, after their first submittal, they sat for a while.
3 or 4 months.
Yeah. You know, and so everybody said, oh, it takes forever. Well, lots of times it's the applicant that's just sitting there waiting to
Right.
figure out what the hell they wanted. So,
Right. Okay.
Yeah, again, this was a big measure to really just prod Denver into approving things quicker because their review process can go on for years.
Right.
So that's what it is. Like I said, I think we're positioned, if somebody comes in and says, I want to do this, I think there's going to be some mutual agreement that like, this is when we need you to get, you know, stuff returned to us, or we're not going to do reach your 90 days.
right.
So that is that. And then, yeah, just kind of talked in there about a few of the things that we have going for us that make things go quicker here in Sheridan. So,
And we've always had one of the more streamlined development review processes here by far. And it's always been one of our competitive advantages with our neighbors is that somebody can come here and we can definitely put you through the process faster than any of our neighbors can.
it's a huge selling point.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's the resolution we've got for you tonight. This was more of a template resolution that the state provided, so we just took their template, filled it out with our information, so we're pretty confident that they'll accept it. If they don't, it was their template. But happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Wouldn't surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise me at all. Oh, and the biggest thing I forgot to mention, so why are we doing this now, right? Because we have until December 31st to do this. So the reason we're doing it now, they are offering an incentive program that if you adopt by June 30th and submit everything to them by July 31st, if it all looks good and we did what we were supposed to, there's a non-competitive $45,000 grant
Oh, cool.
made available. So what we're looking to do, we've been working very closely with Jenna and our on-base system, which is our electronic document management. So for a number of years, we've been looking at this option where you can connect the electronic document management with our GIS, with our maps. So the idea that, and it, you know, the cost has always been around the $45,000. It's just one of those things. It's like we never put in the budget because there's always something else that's more pressing, and really what they want to fund are things that are going to speed up your process even more. So it's hiring staff, buying software, cutting review timelines somehow, code updates. They're really big on that. Thankfully, I don't think we need to do any of that. But because we can buy the software, it'd be really nice if we get the money we'll be able to pay for that integration. And then what that looks like for the public and for developers is right now, if you want all of the property records on your house, you have to submit a form to Jenna, and then it comes to us, and then we have to go pull the records, and then we have to email you, and it takes up to 3 days. There's a lot of paperwork involved to do the core request. So what this would be is you would be able to type in your address, click on your property, and those documents would just pop up right there. So you could just click on them, download them yourself, view them, and that way we're not gatekeeping those documents anymore. It's out there for everybody's property. They are public records. You could look at other properties records and see what's been going on. Did they receive permits, something like that. So really excited if this all goes according to plan and we get the state to sign off on it. Hopefully we'll get $45,000 for doing it. So that has been the incentive and the reason we wanted to get it done a little sooner. That's all. Happy to answer the questions.
Cool, we might have time to smoke them. Anything else?
Do you want to do that meeting or do it another time? Update the council.
I can do it really, really quickly.
Okay.
So Pam Eller, you all know who she is, maybe you don't, she's on the board for South Suburban Park and Rec, and Brent Berninger, who is our, I guess, our person, he is
Staff liaison.
our staff liaison.
I don't
Is that
know.
what he's actually the deputy director of South Suburban Parks and Rec, and he is assigned to Centennial and Sheridan, right?
No, Sheridan and
then the other guy is one.
Columbine Valley. Think so?
Is it Columbine Valley?
Not that's what he said.
One of those C's. It's one of those C's.
Or maybe,
He's
and maybe,
here,
and
as long as
maybe,
he's here.
maybe it was all. three
Because
of them.
then the other guy is assigned to Lone Tree and
I don't remember how they broke it out.
whatever. I think Lone Tree and Columbine Valley and then Centennial and
Maybe
Sheridan
that's
as a
it.
size. Anyway,
Brent's our guy.
Brent's our guy. He's our guy. He's our very tall, very nice gentleman. And then Dr. Thompson, the superintendent of the school district, the board president Carlin O'Hara was there, and then also Danny Sting, Treasury Secretary, was also at the meeting. And the overall arching theme is that the school district, and I think that the constituents or what have you would like to see something happen with our rec center. And South Suburban Parks and Rec would also like something to happen, but they want a 20 or 30-year lease. And the old lease was 50 years that the school district had approved. So that building is owned by the school district. And it was a 50-year lease, and it has kind of gone by the wayside and what have you because of superintendents that didn't get along with their director at the time, and just many things over the years. Many things have been dropped, many things haven't been done, but the reality now is that we need a new roof, we need new air conditioning in it, we need a new floor in the gym, we need a new sauna, new shower, whatever, right? And an update and a refresh and what have you. And those were the things that we were discussing. Of course, they would still like to have, a longer lease, so that's kind of where we left it. I think that they really do want to work with us. I know that the school district is really, very committed to doing something that, the community will be proud of. And because bottom line, the people that are gonna have to answer for this are gonna be city council members and school district the Board of Education. They're your elected officials, and if it goes screwy and ends up not anything happening, it's gonna be our fault. It's gonna be, our school district's fault. And what we want is to make sure that it is something that we all can be happy with and be proud of. And we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I guess Brent, Andy, who is the actual executive director of South Suburban Parks and Rec, was in Idaho visiting his first grandbaby, so he wasn't at the meeting, but there will be more meetings with Devin, with Dr. Thompson, superintendent, and then two gentlemen from South Suburban to make sure that we get, a fair shake. And I can tell you this, that Ms. Nahara and Mr. Stain asked some really hard questions. And Brent was very open to hearing them. I mean, he's new at this. He's not heard all of the things that you or I or Ernie, might have heard, or Desiree's might have heard, or even Anthony, that, our rec center is not nearly as nice as, but we're not nearly as nice as Goodson. We're not nearly as nice as Lone Tree. And we want it to be as nice as Lone Tree, period. And I think that we'll get done. It's gonna be, we have until April, so they best hurry it up. That's for sure. We best hurry it up. And let's see.
Has any of the recreation centers been rebuilt
Oh gosh,
over and over?
we've had, the one in Littleton, they completely gutted since I was on, since Ernie and I were on city council, right?
That's something.
They completely gutted it and redid it and brand new and beautiful.
Shouldn't have such a.
Then they redid it again and we got there.
Working on
That's
it.
what the discussion.
That's what it's about.
That's what this is
More or
about.
less.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that long-term lease is coming up
But
and we
yeah,
gotta decide what to do.
the difference, of course, is that the school district owns the building.
Yeah.
And Littleton's and Lone Tree own South Suburban. But
I understand.
I can promise you that the school district is committed, and they will knock back down, and I can promise you that. Desiree, can you agree with me that the school district is not gonna back down, and they will make sure that the city has something like this? But we'll get it done. And if.
ROI.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to look at
Have all this money in here, what have you done, man?
So, and with that, I guess that we've got a few minutes to use the restroom. If anybody needs to use the restroom, I'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting. We'll go upstairs, start another one. Well, they'll go with Pat, so we don't get to see them all.
That would be, that's.
You're not
Okay,
going
so I'll speak this one for now, let's mute it.
No.
Just mute it.
Because
Yeah, nice to.
Everybody signed in? I'm in. You in? I'm in.
And then
Cool. Everybody ready?
Yep.
Ready to? First we'll ask Andrea, our interpreter, to go ahead and give her introduction, if you would, please. If she's there, is she there?
Miss Andrea, you can go ahead when you're ready.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Miss Andrea, go ahead and try it again.
Hmm. I'm not translating. If anybody's gonna translate, it'll be
Miss Andrea, can you hear us?
you. Oh, it'll be the one of you two. Won't be me, because you want me to butcher it, because I would butcher it. We can ask where the bathroom is
No.
and order what we want to eat.
You can sign up here.
And that's about it.
Try your sound again.
That's not true. Desiree, you have to speak pretty good. I've heard you. I've heard. I understand it. My brain gets thinking and yeah. Yep, me too.
You want to try again? Oh.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Ta-da, there
Yes.
it is.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Andrea with the Community Language Cooperative. We're going to be practicing language justice today, and this is being streamed and will be published on the YouTube channel. If you are listening right now in Spanish, I will say this in Spanish, I guess. Hola a todos, soy Andrea, estoy con la Community Language Cooperative. Esta reunión va a ser grabada y publicada en el canal de YouTube en el futuro. Muchas gracias, and host, we can start interpretation now.
Thank you. We're gonna go ahead and call it June 8th. It is not June 8th, wrong. It is June 22nd, 2026, regular meeting of the city council to order at 19:10 or 7:10 PM. All council members are present, and if you will please stand and join me in the invocation and then followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Take it away, Jay.
God of truth, enlighten us now as we meet together so that each of us have a clear understanding of the issues we need to discuss. Give us clarity on our purpose for this meeting and what objectives we should accomplish in this meeting. May these objectives keep us on track. May they bond us together with a common goal. May these objectives drive each of us to actively participate rather than passively listen. May this meeting be lively and productive, and may your desired outcome be achieved. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, Amen to that too. Next, we have the agenda approval. City Clerk, are there any changes to the agenda?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. There are no changes to the agenda, but one item to note is that you did have a financial report in your packet. It is not noticed on your agenda. That is my oversight. So we will be moving that item to the next meeting to vote on. My apologies on that.
We'll accept your apology and it's okay. So next we have staff reports. You're up.
Thank you. For those of you attending CML, I have delivered you a packet that has a credit card authorization form, a tax exemption certificate and forms, your registration, and your hotel reservation. If you need anything from me, please call me while you're there. I'm here to help. But I hope that you all have a great time. And then I will be out of town this Thursday to next Tuesday, but I will be checking my email and we'll be in touch. If you need something while you're at CML, please call. So
Thanks.
thank you.
City Attorney.
I look forward to seeing everybody who's attending at CML tomorrow. If you're able to, I'd love to have the rest of you at the old spaghetti factory for dinner. We do it once a year. It's just an informal thing. No, for the public, there's no city business or anything. It's just an appreciation. And yeah, I look forward to seeing everyone. If anybody sees me, feel free to come sit by me, anything you'd like. And anything else you need, let me know.
Thank you. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll also be at CML. I'll be in and out. I have meetings this week. I've been traveling a little bit with my kids at sporting things, so I'm playing a little bit of catch up this week, and I'm going to be doing some meetings. So hopefully I can do them maybe while I'm there and remotely and still be able to attend some of the sessions. But I'll be in and out all week long at CML as well. Unfortunately, I can't make tomorrow night, and my apologies for that. The other item I wanted to bring to your attention to, Mayor, was the handout that I just provided to council. This is from our Public Services, and it is that time of the year when our trash rate is analyzed. It goes through a formula that is part of our contract with Republic Services for our trash system. This year, when you look at the 12-month rolling average for the water sewer trash rate, this comes from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and this is the formula that we agreed with Republic that was written into our contract, that how we would go about with our our annual rate adjustments. That 12-month rolling average is 4.86%. So that's what the rate increase for next year will be, is a 4.86 increase. If you look on the backside of the sheet that I provided you, it has a breakdown on an exhibit of what the rate increase looks like, either on an annual, quarterly, or monthly rate. And just as an example, most folks for their service have the 96 gallon, at least one 96 gallon, which is the large can. That current rate is $23.21 a month, and that's going to increase to $24.34, so an increase of $1.13 a month for that. So that will be taking effect come August 1st. Republic will be putting out notices to all the customers on that, so folks will be aware that we will also put out the word on our social media and our website and all that kind of thing as well. So those are my updates right now, Mayor. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Chief.
Good afternoon. It's been a while since I've seen you. It feels like a long time, but it's only been about a month. I was actually on vacation, returned last week, went to Alabama, Gulf Shores, Orange Beach. Great place to be. But if you don't mind, I'd like to yield my time to our historian, Roger Rowland, who would like to briefly update us on our SPD history update. And he has copies, I believe, for everyone. Would that be okay?
Sure.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Mayor, is it okay if I approach the dais? Give you some handouts? Thank you.
Add to my collection.
Yep.
Mm.
Thank you, Roger.
Good evening, Council. My name is Roger Rowland. I'm the Secretary Treasurer of the Sheridan Historical Society. I'm currently the longest active trustee on the board, some 25 plus years. So hard to believe, but time flies so fast. I've given you two books. The plastic spiral book is the current book. That's a 2026 supplement, The History of the Sheridan Police Department. The other book is the book from 2005. I'm sure most of you council members haven't seen that book. That's why I provided it. Between those two books, you have a 65-year history of the Sheridan Police Department. The supplement process history began about 3 years ago when Chief Martinez made a request for me to consider doing that. And I said, okay, it's been a while. We haven't done it. So it's taken a while to bring it together. And after time and things fall in place and time happens for a reason, or reason has happened within the time frame. It was just completed this past month. Some thank yous. First of all, to the city clerk with the FOIA request. Thank you, Jenna. Getting the names of all the police officers for the last 25 years, not an easy thing to do. I asked the chief and I asked the commander, and it's like, but they've only been here 5 years for the chief. The commander's been here a little bit longer, but with the changeover in the computer system, they just didn't have the information. Well, now you all have it. So one of the appendixes in the back, both in the 2005 book and in the 2026 supplement, is a list of all the paid police officers for the city of Sheridan. I can guarantee you that most cities and towns cannot give you a list of all their police officers for the last 65 years. So it's a unique bit of history. Well, things happen for a reason. Anyway, the other thing that we did new this time, there's a new appendix on the end called Awards and Commendations. That came about an idea that I had in this discussions with the chief. So I'll really credit the chief for the idea. What we tried to do is to add more to the dimension of the department to help people understand the true impact of police officers really have over time. This is kind of a small list, but it's the beginning of a list of commendations in Appendix 5. And so I think that's also something unique and that we tried to do and establish. If you have any questions, that was project number 10 on my list. That was our second book this year. Our project 11 book was the History of Alice Elementary School, which we did for the school district, which is available online. Yeah, if you have any questions or if you want to know more about the Sheridan Historical Society, just let me know. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Very nice. Beautiful. Thank you. Nice.
Gentlemen, sir, did you put this book together yourself?
Mhm.
Was it him that did the book?
Yeah.
Was you? I was going to say, good job.
Thank
I
you.
was saying the book was well done.
Thank you.
He's the guy. He's our historian. We're very lucky to have him. Next, we have the approval of the minutes of the regular city council meeting of June 8th. Not June 8th, June 22nd, 2026, and that's your fault, not mine. Are there any questions on them? Hearing none. I have a motion made by nobody. Oh, I have a motion by Council Member Moreno and a second by Councilwoman Stang. Any questions? Hearing no questions, we can go ahead and vote. That passes unanimously. Next, we have the consent agenda, authorized disbursements that have been or will be made from June 1st, 2026 and June 15th, 2026 in the amount of $511,046.33 per the referenced and attached transfer of funds. Are there any questions on the consent agenda? Hearing none, we have a motion by Councilwoman Stang and a second by Councilmember Moreno. Can go ahead and cast your votes. That passes unanimously as well. Public hearing, we have none. Next, we have items for individual consideration. We have ordinance 8/2026 on second reading.
Then I'll
And-
do a brief presentation.
Yes.
Please, thank you. So as discussed on first reading, the state legislature created a wildfire resiliency board in 2023 for the purpose of creating and adopting a statewide wildfire code via Senate Bill 23-166. That was developed and the city is required to begin enforcing the code by July 1st, 2026. The adoption of this code will comply with state law. And unfortunately, in follow up to the mayor's inquiry from last meeting, in the event the city would decide in the future we need to amend any of it, there aren't any funds, obviously, from the legislature for any amendments we would do. So in light of the foregoing, staff recommends adoption of ordinance number 8/2026 as required by state law.
Thank you. We have a motion by Councilmember Camacho and a second by Councilmember Moreno to approve or for ordinance 8/2026, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sheridan, Colorado, adopting by reference the 2025 Colorado Wildfire Resiliency Code. Are there any questions? Hearing none, we can go ahead and cast our votes. That passes as well unanimously. Next, we have an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sheridan, Colorado, adopting by reference the 2025. Wait a minute. On first reading, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sheridan, Colorado, amending the section 56-706 of Sheridan Municipal Code regarding accessory dwelling unit rear setback standards. Are there any questions? Hearing none, we have a motion from Councilmember Whitaker and a second by Councilmember Moreno. We can go ahead and cast our votes. That passes unanimously. Next, we have resolution 21-2026, resolution of the City Council of Sheridan, Colorado, establishing expedited review policies for affordable housing projects. We have a motion from Councilmember Whitaker and a second by Councilmember Camacho. Are there any questions? Hearing none, we can go ahead and cast our votes. Next, we have mayor's choice. That would be me. So what I would like to remind everyone, maybe inform everyone that the bike to work day is on Wednesday morning. Most of us will be at CML. However, we have staff members that will be at Wildcat Park. And Wendy will be there taking pictures, and Jay and I will hopefully FaceTime you from CML so we can get in the picture, maybe-ish. And then the other big announcement that we have this weekend, the VFW 9644 is hosting the State Colorado Convention at the Sheridan High School, and Chief Martinez and myself will be speaking bright and early 9 o'clock in the morning on Friday if any of you want to come and hear us and root us on and make us nervous. That would be great. And that's all the updates that I have. Next, we have council members' choice. Anyone
I said I want to say something.
hit the
Yes, I want to say to everyone in the room, to the city council, that I'm at my 6-month mark. All right, at the 6-month, And I would like to thank everyone for welcoming me a part of the team, and the things that I'm learning that I did not know, and the little things just like when you're like the youngest child in the family, and I say, "Can I go outside?" No, you can't go outside. You need to go ask one of your brothers or sisters to take you. And I would like to just thank everyone for the guidance. And Devin, thank you so much, and everybody, thank you so much for the guidance I've gotten up for this first 6 months. I feel more comfortable. I didn't even know how to turn on the machines. Thank you. I mean, it was just anybody that was a first time council person, there's things that you have to know. And I think it takes a bit of time to learn them. But I'd like to thank everyone in the room for your guidance. And I really mean that. I mean, I really mean that for real. And thank you so much, Jenna, for everything. And I just wanted to say that. I didn't want to let it go past without saying anything about how much I'm learning and how much I really enjoy this opportunity. And thank you all.
Thank you. That's very nice. Thanks. Anyone else?
I do have something. Jenna, did you get the pictures that I had emailed to you?
Yes, I just received them. So let me see if I can pop those up for you.
So on the way here, I stopped by Wildcat Park just to see how it's going down there, and all those plants, all 4 planters are doing amazing.
Nice.
What?
So there were 2 years that with Park Palooza, our kind of Earth Day, the timing of Earth Day week, we did beautification projects at Bobcat and Wildcat Park. And so Michael Moreno and I, along with Jean Ray, we did Park Palooza for 3 years. 4 years? 3 years.
Oh.
So no, it was 4 years.
Oh,
And
you did?
two of them were at Wildcat Park. But the second time we went back, we had to plant a bunch more plants. But you can see they're all doing really great. South Suburban had helped us put sprinklers, automatic sprinklers in there 3 years ago. But they're all so vivid, and the park looks great, and just made me so proud of what we'd all done together.
Nice. And the Boy Scouts.
The Boy Scouts
Yes, the Boy
were
Scouts
very helpful. They painted.
painted and fixed up some of the planters. Don't forget the Boy Scouts.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you know what Boy Scout troop that was? Boy Scout Troop 42.
Yeah.
Anyways, thought I'd share it with you guys. Looks great.
Yeah, thank you. It's so pretty. And that is where the bike to work tent will be set up at on Wednesday. So everyone that's biking to work on the path, and we usually get loads and loads of people, right, Andrew? They'll be able to stop and smell the flowers as well. So thanks. Is there anyone else have anything to say? Nope. With that, we have public comment. We have John A. Lovato. If you would please come to the podium, state your name and your address, please.
John A. Lovato, 3335 South Bryant Street. I've lived here in Sheridan since 9 years of age. Sheridan High School graduate and college graduate, University of Colorado graduate, Arapahoe Community College graduate, worked with the government, Department of Energy, had a Q clearance with the government, worked with all the nations in the world, and United States steel worker too. But Sheridan High School made me and my instructors here make the person I am today and my family. But I want to see more police patrolling on my street. The example is last month in March, the middle of March, the fire trucks, the fire department trucks, the ambulance and the police department racing up 2 blocks from my home all day long from 7 to 7:30 continuously. It was no let up. And I don't know how many other emergency vehicles were coming from Dartmouth, but 2 weeks ago too, there were 5 fire trucks that responded up there, plus the fire chief truck and the Sheridan police. And I don't know what was going on up there, but the neighbors up there that live said that they've seen people on drugs trying to revive other people there. And it's a halfway house, and they didn't tell people that they were going to put a halfway house there. And you asked the residents there about that, and they said they didn't know. But we need more, the city needs to hire more police officers. There should be 2 officers to each patrol car in case the officers get sick or they can't handle the situation. But we have good police officers here in this city, and we have good people that work for the city and the council members too. I've come up here many times, which I didn't want to do, but I do. And that people need to clean their yards and businesses too with the weeds, and so they're presentable to our city, the people that live here. And they need to put some big 4th of July is going to be coming, and it's 250 years, which is great. And they need these big signs on Kenosha Court. There's the fireworks they use there. They can use those in displays, in public displays. They're too big, and they're dangerous. But we're lucky we live in the United States of America, because we have the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution, which protects American citizens, voters, taxpayers, and the citizens that make this country what it is great. And our veterans too. There's a veterans, and my father too was a veteran. World War II, my brother-in-law, my sister's husband, volunteered. He was in the Air Force in Vietnam. He's laid to rest in Fort Logan. And I come from a family that were relatives in the military, but I was in the nuclear field, one of the best United States in the world. And I keep hearing them saying on television, nuclear, this is nuclear. We have atomic bombs, not nuclear bombs. But that's why unfortunately, we have them. And I asked my father at the time, I said, Dad, do you think they should have dropped those bombs on Nagasaki and Hiroshima? And he said, yes, John. It saved a lot of American soldiers. But we live in a wonderful little city, and I want the best for all of us here. I know every pothole in this city, and I want it fixed, and I want people that come here to our River Point to enjoy themselves, and wherever they're biking or wherever they're going, I want them to be safe and enjoy their life while they're in our city. For all of us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, sir. Next, we have Todd Van Zandt. State your address, name, please.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Mayor, council members, chief, city staff. My name is Todd Van Sant. I am commander of Post 9644 2680 West Hampden. I'm also, I hope to be elected state commander for the Veterans of Foreign Wars on Saturday, if all goes well. I wanted to take a few minutes tonight to thank you guys for your continued support of veterans and the post. As the mayor said, this week we're going to be hosting the VFW State Convention here in Sheridan. More than 200 veterans have already signed up to come and sit in your city, our city, and do the business of the VFW. We're going to be at Sheridan High School. This is not the first time we've been in the city of Sheridan. Our first time was in 1967. And then 2010, then 2015, then 2019, and then again 2026. This will be the 5th time your city, our city, your school has hosted the Veterans of Foreign War State Convention. These veterans are coming from across the entire state, from the Western Slope, the East Side, all over the state, representing veterans from every city in the state of Colorado. We're going to be discussing membership, veteran support programs, legislative priorities. As the mayor said, the mayor and the chief are both going to be speaking. I look forward to hearing what they got to say in front of 200 plus veterans and their families. I doubt that they'll be nervous. But lastly, I want to highlight 2 of the service projects that are tied to this convention. The first one is a coat drive. We're currently holding a coat drive for homeless veterans at 9644 in the lobby. This coat drive goes through the convention. So if any of you guys in your closets, as I know you all do, because I know I do too, go in and pull some of your old coats out and bring them down to either the high school this weekend or to 9644. We'll take those coats and we'll make sure they get in the hands of veterans who need them. The second one is our school supply drive. We do this just about every year. Last year, we filled the back of a pickup truck full of school supplies and dropped them off to Sheridan School District. The Sheridan School District passes those out to kids who need them and keep them on hand. This is, I can't even count the number of times we've done this, but it's been dozens of years we've done this. So we'll be starting the school drive at the convention. So if you guys want to bring some school supplies by, crayons, markers, papers, etc. And then we're going to do that school supply for the drive for the next 30 days at 9644 in the lobby. So that'll all accumulate till school season starts. We'll come by the school and drop off the school supplies. We're known for helping our veterans, but we're also known for helping our community. So once again, we wanted to thank you guys for your support. Please come support us if you guys want to be there Friday morning, as the mayor said, to hear the mayor and the chief speak. We'd love to have you in attendance. Our joint opening session is a time for that we represent the VFW, but also the things that VFWs around the state celebrate what they've done, the community services, the poppy drives, et cetera, the scholarship programs that we put on every year. So it's the opening session is kind of a congratulatory session where we get to celebrate each other. So again, thank you guys for what you guys do for us. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thanks, Todd. Appreciate you. With that, this meeting's adjourned. Next, we're going to move into the Sheridan Redevelopment Agency meeting. I will call the June 22nd, 2026 Sheridan Redevelopment Agency to order at this time, which is, I don't know yet, June 8th, no, you're funny. What a smart aleck. See what I get? 1938 or 7:38 p.m. on Monday, June 22nd. All members are present. We have approval of minutes of the Sheridan Redevelopment Agency of April 27th, 2026. We need a motion. Thanks.
They changed the software, so I have to put a header in, and then I have to hit a next one instead of all being one item. So I'm used to just hitting it once, but now I gotta hit it twice. Sorry.
No, you're fine. We have a motion by member Moreno and a second by member Stang. We can go ahead and cast our votes whenever you're ready, Jenna. That passes unanimously. Next, we have the financial reports. Are there any questions on the financial reports? Wait a minute. Yes, we have a motion by member Camacho and a second by member Moreno. Any questions? Hearing none, we can go ahead and cast votes. Okay. Next, we have the approval of the disbursements.
Madam Mayor, we're still waiting for a vote.
Oh, fine. Sorry. I thought I hit it.
No
I
worries.
missed it. That passes as well unanimously. Okay, now we have the approval of the disbursements. Authorize the disbursements for May 2026 in the amount of $166,773.40 that have been or will be made for expenses referenced below. Legal expenses, 0. Other professional services, $4,041.28. CD support services, $162,206. Other expenses, $526.12. We have a motion from member Whitaker and a second from member Moreno. Are there any questions? Hearing none, we can go ahead and cast our votes. Oh, you do, sorry.
In the packet, the numbers for May and June add up to the same. where they're actually different. So I'm wondering, on page
June
2.
shows $177,089.83. And
Yep.
May is
The numbers that are under both May and June are identical,
In our packet. Yep,
although they should.
but they're not.
Do you see that page 2?
It's on page 2, Jenna.
let me open that. Mine does not show them the same.
I think that's a typo. Yeah, I think that didn't get updated.
So
We need to amend.
Let me get on the, it appears that did not get updated.
Let me give you the numbers. Hold on.
Hold on 1 second.
Man, I really failed you guys this week.
It looks like the numbers for June are probably May's numbers.
And are we doing them
Yeah.
both at the same time? Because I was separated.
No, with the way that the software is now, they separate them out, so each have their own.
Okay. So we're voting on May.
Yes, this is May.
Okay, we are gonna vote on May then. We have a first and a second.
Okay, so May is the
Correct.
0 for legal,
Mhm.
$441.28 for other professional services. For city support services, $162,206, and then other expenses, $526.12, for a total of $162,732.12.
No, 167.
Yeah. Yeah, we showed.
Oh, $166,773.40. And then for June, I'll read those when we get to that one. So this is just May.
Yes, May, in the amount of $166,773.40.
Yes, and that is what May has said. Yes.
But in the packet, it does have a different amount.
Yes, I was reading them to you that they would
Okay.
match. Yes.
Okay. And so now we're gonna vote on just May.
Yes.
We're ready when you were. Uh-oh, now I'm frozen. That passes unanimously at 7. Next, we have the financial authorized disbursements for June 26 and the amount of. Do you want me to read them or are you gonna read it?
All right. Legal services, 0. Other professional services, $13,515.60. City support services, $162,206. Other expenses, $1,368.33. Total payables are $177,089.93. And I can update them.
Thank you. We have a motion by member Whitaker and a second by member Shang. Are there any questions? Now that we've worked through all of that and got it all straightened around. Go ahead and cast your
My
vote.
apologies.
No, you're fine. That passes by a majority of 7. Thank you. Next, we have new business. Brings us to Teresa.
Good evening, everyone. As usual, Jenna always creates a very exciting cover page for me, so I look all mysterious here. So that's good. So, new retailers, things are just moving along with current what we've got going on. So, not going to get too much into there. Our pledge revenues, the thing I'm happy about is the year to date still does continue to be higher at 2.58% higher. Things are definitely kind of flattening out, so I'm glad that that still continues to rise just a little bit. Our continuing compliance, we had our first quarter compliance report that we had to have to JP Morgan by May 15th. The big thing that we had to do is we had to send in our request for extension on the A1 and A2 letters of credit. We had to do that before May 22nd, and those mature on August 22nd. So we will be bringing those back to the board to approve before August 22nd. So you kind of do it every year, so should be pretty standard. The 2025 audit moving along. I kind of hope that we can maybe present in June. That was kind of my very big wish, but it's not going to happen. So we are going to be now presenting to you guys on the July 27th meeting, which is still in plenty of time to get it to the state by the July 31st date. So everything's going along well. The auditor's questions have all been good. We've been able to answer them. So haven't had any issues. So very happy about that and happy to answer any questions that you all might have.
Anyone? Hearing none? This meeting is adjourned.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thanks, Teresa. 7:47 p.m. or 1947 for you people that have been in the military. The 8th of June. Slow down. Oh. That's what it says on my paper. It's freaking